Yeah, bye. All right, XOXO. Got a girl. Audra at Home is filmed in front of a live Pitbull audience. Good morrow and merry meet. My name is Audra and you are in for a treat. All right, depending on what order I filmed this look is either up or will be up. And y'all, Today we're going to be doing a palette roundup, which today it's going to have one old palette, but several new ones. I like to do it this way. Also, my dear friend Teresa happens to do, you know, like bite-sized reviews, which I greatly enjoy. But I also really just enjoy doing it this way instead of always waiting for an end of the month video because one, I'm not organized. I'm not an organized person. And if I'm going to be real with myself, my ability to remember whether or not I've talked about a palette in, or really anything in a Bops or Flops, not great. So what I thought I'd do is every time I get like a small collection of palettes, whether they're all new or old, or I've played with something in a palette chat, I'd like to do like a quick palette roundup. And some of these, you know, sometimes we may be pulling something from the retirement home, you know, they're gonna come out and play. Not today, but sometimes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What we're gonna go ahead and start with today is what is on my eyes. So, y'all, it's been a minute since I played with this. This is my one old palette in the whole thing. This is the Rose Metal palette by Lois Cosmetics. Y'all, I cannot, like, this is such a nice palette. There are some shades in here I will not, like, I don't really mess with, and that's not really the well, I mean, yeah, that's not the palette's fault. It's my fault. I bought it. Like, this color is not gonna be something that I play with. I haven't really played with this as much as I'd like to. This is a nice deep brown, and I'm letting the light do this so that it's more true to the actual shades of the palette. This shade I have on today, I have on the black, of course, but I really like this palette. It is a nice palette. It is fun to play with, and it's easy to play with. There's not a ton of fallout, and I actually do like the way that it comes out. Like, Cherish is a shade I probably won't use, and neither will I use One and Only. But on my eyes today, I do believe I have Evelyn. I have I have Evelyn, Rose Metal, the namesake. I have Chivalry, I have Bittersweet, I have Hopeless Romantic as well. So I tend to play with this, and like a lot of people, I tend to play with the exact same shades over and over and over again because you want to play with what you're comfortable with, like, be real. But I really like this palette. I think it's a very, very nice palette, especially if you're looking for something that has that like rosy feel, but with like a little bit of an edge. And there you go, especially for all my BBs out there, my basic bitches. All my BBs out there, I think this is a lovely BB palette as well because you do get to have a little bit of an edge. And let me just tell you, side note, that Rose Metal truly has, for especially my skin tone, a little bit more of like a reddish tint to it. It's a lot less pink and a little bit more red. I don't know if that's coming across to y'all, but it's a significantly more red than it is just like a pink. And I really like that. It's almost like they did bronze and pink together. I have no idea, but like that's kind of the feel that it gives, that it's like this bronzy pink instead of just like, you know, baby girl pink. So I really enjoyed this palette, and I'm really happy that I have this in my collection, and I'm happy that I got to use it again and that I chose to use it again. Just know I will literally almost never be on an actual no buy or low buy. So if that's what you come for, you're in the wrong place, baby. I don't have that kind of mentality. I just buy shit. It's, buying is how I cope with things, and that's why I got kitty slippers. Anyways. It's not always makeup. I buy things from my house. I'm like, oh, I need a new coffee maker. Buy that. You know what I mean? But since I'm not home, it's a whole thing. We'll talk about it one day. But yeah, I really like this. And if you were wanting to pick this up, I definitely would. And if it's still available, I'll put some information here. I'm sure it is because it's a fabulous palette. It's a really fantastic, nice little palette. I'm glad I have it. All right, moving on. That was the one old. Let's talk about the new. So we're gonna talk about this palette, which I am just about done editing the video in which I use this. This is the Lethal Cosmetics Berlin 89 palette. Y'all, this palette is a fucking blast. I had such a good time playing with this. I was able to use a large amount of the shades, and to be honest, this is one of the first things that I've gotten from Lethal and that I've used from Lethal that did not come out pastel. Does that make sense? It didn't come out pastel on my deep skin. It came out, I had this beautiful sunset look that I put together. It was gorgeous. Reunion and Breakthrough, fabulous shades. Let me see if I can get a little Reunion in here for you. And I'm gonna put this on the side. I don't know why I'm putting these in weird places. Let me put this on places where you can actually see. So there's Reunion. And then let me go in here and get a little bit of Breakthrough. Like, these shades are gorgeous. Oh gosh, so pretty. Because Breakthrough is gonna be a duochrome. Ugh, ugh. I'm like, am I showing you the right side of my hand? Yes. So the Breakthrough is this pinky shade here, and then this is, oh gosh, they're very, very pretty. And also, I'm gonna say it, the mattes, the formula, very, very nice. There's not a shit ton of fallout. There's might be like a smidgen of fallout, but it wasn't enough to irritate me in any way, shape, or form. And it was easy to remove. It didn't like smudge all over my face. Most importantly, I really liked that I was able to use this one and not have it kind of come out pastel for me. And that's a big thing for me, because I feel like that was one of the things that kind of kept me from consistently buying from Lethal, is that I felt like I would get their mattes and a lot of their mattes were coming across on my skin as pastel, which I like pastel. I like to be a pastel goth from time to time. Howsomever, sometimes I want to be a dark ass queen, and I can't be a dark ass queen if the shades won't be dark. And this is doing this for me. I was really honestly surprised, and I did receive this NPR. Thank you, Lethal, for reaching out and sending this to me, because I am honestly kind of blown away by how much I like this. I had some trepidation about it, and now I do not have it, and I'm very happy that it lives in my life. Transit is also a very beautiful shimmer, and I already knew Lethal had beautiful shimmers, and I have a whole palette. Like, listen, I have a whole little palette that I made. It could be my own damn fault, but I have a whole palette full of Lethal shimmers and whatnot. And I just felt like even some of these weren't coming across on my skin as well, with the exception of a few of the shades. This is a different story, and y'all, this is the one where I'm like, okay, this is where they actually sucked me in. Yes, I love Teresa's collab, but this palette is the one that actually totally sucked me in, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna play with Lethal. Now I'm gonna be playing with them. Now I'm gonna go buy some more shit because I'm actually really excited. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare, very rare. All right, next up, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Nomad Cosmetics Haunted Europe. Now, of course, I did a green look with this palette, but what makes this so fun is, like, first of all, we're gonna talk about this packaging. I love the holograph. Like, this is gonna be a palette that I'm never going to get rid of, specifically because I love that holograph. Could I just rip it off? Yes. Do I wanna do that? Absolutely not. This palette is so cute and so freaking fun. It's not just for Halloween, although Halloween is every day if you're me. Anyways, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. But but it's just beautiful. It's stunning. I feel like it's, again, one of their best outings this year. I feel like Grendel is this beautiful, gorgeous green shade, which, let me see if I have a finger for it. Like, this green, it's just so deep and so beautiful. And if you are like really pale and you like to be like a dark, you know, gothic, evil fairy, or a gothic good fairy, or a gothic mid fairy, fairies, and you know what I'm saying. These shades are perfect for you. I feel like these shades really do it justice, and I feel like I haven't been this excited about their shimmers probably since the Berlin palette. Yeah, Berlin Underground. That was one of my favorite ones, and this is quickly replacing it. I did also receive this in PR, so thank you, Nomad, for sending that over. Next up, we're gonna talk about the Sour Patch Kids palette from Morphe. I, of course, purchased this with my own money because I'm a sucker, and I thought to myself, Self, what do you like? Candy? Check. What do you not like? Morphe? Check. Well, it was time for a sinful haul, and every so often I like to check in with brands and see what they've done. And with this, okay, so first I'm gonna show it to you. It is an actual fun, cute color story. That's where it ends. The pigmentation on this is hot garbage. I could not get these to work. In fact, I ended up having to rescue the look using the Terra Moon's El Barrio palette because this just wasn't showing up. at all, like nowhere. There was no pigmentation anywhere. I dug and I dug and I dug. I literally got it because I like the packaging. I got sucked in. I was like, this is so cute. It's trash. It's Morphe. It's regular Morphe trash. That's okay. You know, I bought it so you don't have to. Don't buy this piece of shit. It's terrible. I could not, for the life of me, get any of the shades. Like I was like, okay, because I tried the two brightest shades, which is red berry and blue raspberry, okay? I was like, let me play with those two shades because these are bright. These are bright. If you can't do that, then you can't do shit. You know what? They couldn't do shit. I mean, I fussed and fussed, and if you put your thumb in it, you're gonna get it to look like this, right? Right. But the second you try to like get it onto your skin and have it look nice and blend it, and I'm showing it to you as I was blending it, you know what I mean? You're gonna get this kind of streaky, patchy mess, and on my eye, it just would not stay. The color would not stay. The pigment would not grab a hold of my eyes. And the same thing happened with blue raspberry. I could not get it to transmit across that I was gorgeous. And so for that reason, you know, this is probably the biggest piece of shit I bought all year, and you know, my own fault. Am I gonna keep it? Probably. It's as a reminder, you know what I mean? I gotta keep reminding myself, like, hey, remember that time you bought from Morphe? It's a piece of shit, you know what I mean? It's a smart move. Smart move. You can argue with me in the comments. All right, so next up we have the Ghosty Babe palette by Hex Baby Beauty. All right, so this is what she looks like on the inside. Oop. This is what she looks like on the inside. Cute, she's adorbs, right? Yes, okay. So here's the thing. I think that it needs a lot of work on the formula. I felt like the pigment wasn't there for a babe my shade. Now, it could be there for you if you are pale or not as brown as I am. I did not feel like even the shimmers were really giving what I wanted them to give. I actually ended up using a plethora of different shimmers and shades. I think I went into my Ferocious Beauty palette. I went into, that's what made me decide to use the Rose Metal palette. I went in there, like I used a bunch of different palettes to rescue what was happening because I felt like it just wasn't happening. It felt like a lot of the shades just didn't, like the shimmers were a little dry for me. And I felt like I'm going in pretty good. I felt like the mattes weren't really doing what I thought that they should be doing. It just kind of felt like I was getting a beginner palette, which is fine. I mostly bought it because I liked, you know, the artwork like a lot of people, but I just felt like it wasn't, like maybe I have to go deeper into the pan to get the pigmentation that I need out of it. But I just feel like it's not exactly giving what I need it to give. And I'm hoping that on their next outing that they have improved on that, because I just didn't love how the formula was working for me. I felt like I just kept digging in and putting the brush in and coming, and I just finally got frustrated and said, fuck it, let's go. Let me just do something else because I had other videos I was gonna film. And there's nothing worse, honestly, in beauty YouTube world than being like, I'm gonna film a get ready with me, and you're like, or just kidding, it's not working out. So it just really wasn't working out. I wish them the best though. I hope that the formula gets better. I never used the pressed pigment, the pressed glitter, which I feel like that's the one thing in there that I will probably enjoy. So that's that on that. All right, so next up, I want to talk about the OPV In Bloom palette, which for some reason I put back into its sleeve. I don't know why. I think it's just Bloom, but I keep saying In Bloom because Nirvana. Anyways, I had played with this one time. I'm gonna have to try to play with it again. I felt like it was okay. I felt like I needed, especially the shade Buttercup, to give a bit more than it was giving on the eye. On the finger, it's gonna look amazing. But once I started blending it, it just really wasn't giving. And here's my main issue is going to come with the shimmers. I didn't feel like a lot of these shimmers were really trying to give up the ghost, if you will. I'm hoping that if I play with it a little bit longer, maybe some of the new will come on off of it. But I'm going to show you the 3 shades that I grabbed. And this is what I'm talking about. I just did not feel like there was a lot happening. I wanted it to just give a smidgen more, just a smidgen more than it was giving. I felt like this is a good outing. It was a beautiful beautiful palette. I like the way that they place the color story and put all the colors together. I just feel like there needs to be some work on the pigmentation, which I keep saying, but I do feel like the pigmentation needs some work. I feel like the shimmers needed to be a bit more. And then there was also Calendula, which is a shade that I really wanted to love because it was like, ooh, it's red. And this is how it looks on the finger. Again, I'm just trying to show you like a little bit here and there, but it was a bit rough trying to get onto my eye. It is doing better today, but it's still a little more pinky than red than I want it to be. But I'm gonna play with this again at a later date and time. Just currently, when I originally tried it, I was just kind of like, it's okay. Like, it's not terrible, you know? It's good. It's not like, you know, earth shattering. But you know, it is what it is. But I like the palette. I love the color story. That's one of the reasons that I bought it. It's because the color story is gorgeous. And I also really like the size of the pans because I'm a messy bitch, as you can clearly see down here. Look at that. Whoa. Anyways, but I love the size of the pans. I love the way that it was placed and put together. I just wish that some of the shades worked as well on the eye as they do when you're swatching it. And then that's one of the reasons why Millie and myself and many others in this community, Bad to the Brow, that's who I'm talking about, I often say swatches don't mean as much as you think that they do, because I can swatch a shade and it can look fantabulous, but the second it goes on the eye, it doesn't look as good. And that's what's the point in having a swatch at that point? I get why you want to see it, right? That makes sense. But this is one of the reasons why we say you can't just trust the swatches. You also need to see a review and have people talk about it, whatnot. So this is one that I still like. I'm going to play with it some more and make some determinations on it from there. But I like this palette and I'm going to play with it again. I just wish it had a little bit more oomph, all right? This is, oh, I did say OPV Beauty. I can't ever remember if I've said who the things are by because of who I am. All right, so next up in the palette roundup, I'm gonna be talking about the Midas X Kohl MUA Served Soft Palette. I like this palette. It's a nice little palette. Yes, I did receive this in PR. I like this palette. It's a nice little palette. If you are a BB, this is for you. It also has a little bit of that oomph. If you are more into like a darker kind of a look, if you want to, you know, mix it up, you do have Brain Freeze, which is this really, I feel like it's a deep black blue, like it's black, but it's like blue black. Does that make sense? Anyways, it does make sense. I'm gonna move on. But I feel like you can serve this however you want to, right? You can serve this as gothy, dark, and mysterious, or you can serve it up nice and chill and basic. Either way, you're gonna have a nice time. The shades are easy to play with. Dreamsicle is just, it's actually a bit of a dream, but it is a very soft shade. It is a bronzy color here. And I barely got into it because I was like, I don't want to ruin it. And then you have Sugar Rush, which is a quite nice shade as well. I feel like their shimmer formula has always been pretty top notch. I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can quickly show you these shades because I really want to play video games on Twitch. And that's them right here. And I feel like it's a nice little palette. Like I like it for me because I can take, you know, a more neutral look, but make it me, you know, make it dark, make it a little edgy and have a good time with it. And I think you can too. So that's a nice one. Next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Red Dragon palette from Odin's Eye, and that is Odin's Eye and Judy. I did finally get to play with this. I actually really like this. I didn't like love everything about it, but I did like it. I liked playing with it. I hope that you're okay, good. I was worried that, anyways, who cares? But I like this palette. I liked playing with it. I love the shade Jade. I enjoy playing with the shade Dragon. I didn't feel like Jade was giving me what I wanted when I was using it, but I think I need to, you know, play with this some more to get there. Fire, gorgeous shade. Of course, a deep, you know, burgundy is always gonna like be, you know, something that I'm gonna enjoy. The shimmer formula, gorgeous. Solar Flare and Luna were very lovely shades. I enjoyed this. I think that this is a good one to pick up if you want something in this vein. As you can see, like this is where I go when I'm neutral. I go into like berries and reds and burgundies. Like that is where I live when I'm being basic me. Which is never gonna happen. Like this is as basic as I get with a skeleton shirt, skeleton drinking coffee. But I actually really like this. I think one of the things I enjoy most about this, like thank you Tina, because of Tina I was able to get this in PR along with a Tina's palette as well, which I've already talked about in a Bops and Flops. But one of the things I really like about having received these in PR is that I was able to try the Odin's Eye formula. I really like it, and I feel like moving forward, I'm most likely gonna be purchasing more items from the brand, so I'm really excited to do that, and I like this palette. So yeah, I liked it. So we have 3 more palettes to talk about. I promise I'm gonna try to get you out of here. All right, so the next palette I wanna talk about is the Sugar Drizzle Pizza Cat palette. That was so difficult to say for no reason. This is an all shimmer extravaganza. And what I'm gonna say is like, this is a fun palette. You're gonna have a good time with it. If you like an all shimmer palette, this is gonna be fantastic. If you also have, you know, an all matte palette, good companion for it. Do you need this? No. Do you need any of these palettes? No. Do I need them? Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you. Have a good day. Mind your business. But what I am gonna say is I like this. It's the Sugar Drizzle formula is quite nice. It's fun to play with. I like Space Meow, which I'm gonna go ahead and grab. Pew Pew is such a fun shade as well. And of course, I want to talk about Space Fries. Now, these are so fun. I like these kinds of palettes, me personally, because of the fact that I love to play with shimmers. Now, I know there's a lot of people who enjoy their singles, and I like my singles, but I also enjoy having singles basically in a palette, and that's what you're getting here. A bunch of gorgeous, glorious shimmers in one palette, and you can, I guess, travel with them if you're a person who travels. But I also like it because sometimes I just don't feel like pulling out my big ass. I have 3 of those giant Adapt ones, magnetic palettes, and sometimes I just worry because like I'm dropsy. I got, especially now with my job, my fingers just be trying to let everything go. And if oh my God, I just gave myself like a panic just thinking about dropping it. So like, yeah, I'm trying to find like a good mid because like, y'all, I have all of these Terra Moons. I just got a bunch of new Terra Moons. They're a fall collection and I want to show it to you. But like I'm trying to get like a magnetic palette that's in between. Like I need, like, cause I have one this size, it's not gonna house all of them. I want, and I like this kind of like coloring, so I'm trying to find something that's more like that. I'm on the lookout for it. If I find one today, I'll buy one, but I want to show them to you. I want to show you my entire Terra Moons collection because it's actually far larger than even I knew. Moving on. But I do think that this is such a fun palette. It's such a good time, and I feel like there's something for everyone in here. Whether you are like, and I also, here's another side note. I know it's, to some people, they might find it expensive, but I feel like this is a good place to start if you're trying to figure out singles, multi-chromes, and shimmers, and all of that stuff. I also feel like this is a good place to start. Playing with these kinds of palettes, especially from like Sugar Drizzle, can kind of start showing you, because there's a few different formulas in here, and it can show you what kind of formula you like when it comes to shimmers. It can also show you like what kind of duochromes and how to play with duo multi-chromes. So I think that this is a fun, good palette for you to use if you have not, or if you're wanting to get into the world of singles and shimmers. I think that this is a good place for you to start. My opinion. It's up to you, but I love it. I absolutely have such a good time every time I pull that bitch out. Next up, we're gonna talk about this. I feel like I may have talked about this in a Bops and Flops, but I am not positive. This is the Profusion Cosmetics UFO 9 Shade Palette. I feel like this palette was like 10 bucks. It's a good time. Is it, you know, going to be the best thing you've ever received? No. Is it going to be fun to play with? Absolutely. These are 2 shades. It's gonna be Planet and Spaced Out. And I feel like my opinion is that I didn't really play with Profusion, and I feel like, here's the thing. Look at how nice those shades come across. It's a really nice, fun palette to play with. I love that, in my opinion, I like that it's matte. I feel like there's one shimmer in here and it's outer space, and I don't really care because guess what? I got the Pizza Cat palette and I can pair these 2 things together. But this is the kind of shimmer that they have in here, which is outer space. I'll go ahead and see if there's any room left on me to swatch, but it has like, it's not even a shimmer, it's a matte with glitter. There we go. So I just feel like this is an all, like I was saying, an all matte palette. So I pair it with that, it's a good time. The shades come across pretty well and there's not a ton of fallout, so good times. We have one palette left and then you're free. All right, the final palette that I'm gonna be talking about in today's palette roundup, which I hope they're not all this long. I'm so sorry. Gee, those of you who stuck around this long, and do me a favor, drop an ice cream emoji. And if there's not an ice cream emoji, drop a cake emoji. Because Emily's birthday is this month, so let's do a thing. Anywho's, it's the Lime Crime Prelude Chroma palette. Y'all, this bitch was not planned. 8 shades, and it is just doing so much. Absolutely, positively stunning, gorgeous palette. Y'all notice that I like slowly drop it down. It helps the lighting. Like one day, like I always say, one day I'm gonna learn how to do this right. Today ain't that day, but one day. This palette is absolutely gorgeous. The things that they were able to do, which is 8 shades, the 2 matte shades that I definitely use and will continue to use, Genesis Cypress, blended together like a dream and did not blend into mud or nothingness. Absolutely stunning. Loved the shimmers that I was able to play with. I played with Euro, Seafoam, and Saturn. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to play with Triumph and Nymph. Oh, you know what? I did play with Nymph. I see it now. I just didn't play with Triumph. I cannot wait to play with this more. It is such a beautiful palette. Listen, I'm a sucker for Lime Crime. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy their eyeshadows for the most part. I love it. What are you gonna do? I love this palette. It fits my aesthetic perfectly. And I know that I'm gonna play with this because it just gave me such a beautiful look. Now, are you gonna create a ton of different looks with this palette? Absolutely not. You're not gonna create like 75 looks with this, but you are gonna create some looks that you do enjoy. And that's kind of the point of smaller palettes like this, is that you do get to like kind of play with color. You get to play with, your deep dark side, but you also get to play with these shimmers and mix and match. And these are, to my opinion, great for people to play with because especially when you're trying to understand color, figure out color, play with it a little bit. Like these are a little bit darker, especially if you're trying to get like into that deeper, darker world. These are a little bit darker. And for that, to me personally, I find it's a little bit more forgiving. You have a little bit more room to play. And you can just kind of pair things together and see what you like together. You can put the Genesis with Nymph. You can just do Genesis with Euros, and you can just do it with 2 shades. You know what I mean? You have like several shades that you can kind of do that with. So I really, really enjoyed this. And does that mean I'm probably going to be purchasing more Lime Crime in the future, even though I feel like people are going to flame me for it? You're damn right I am. You know why? Because it's my channel. I'm going to do what the hell I want. And that is the palette roundup for this time. This is Palette Roundup, Volume 1. I hope to see you in the next one, Volume 2, whenever that may be, coming to a store near you. All right, if y'all enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, give this video a big thumbs up, so then that way the algorithm goddess can do what she does best, which is push me further down into the algorithm, so that I can do whatever the fuck I want. Also, if you enjoy the show Dexter, then you need to head on over to my Twitch where I will be doing breakdowns of the episodes. It's typically gonna be, I think it's gonna start on Sundays, so it may be on Wednesdays that we actually do it. I can't guarantee. Mondays and Tuesdays are pretty heavy days for me at work, but we'll more than likely be doing the breakdown on Wednesday. And also I like doing that. Gives you guys time to all watch it. Gives all of you time to watch that, and we can all discuss together. All right, as usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. Thank y'all so much for keeping the bats in the belfry and the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs. And to all of you who watch, like, share, and subscribe, I appreciate you as well. It costs $0 to be kind. It's so good for your soul, and don't think that just because Halloween is over that I will not snatch yours. Until next time, XOXO. Gotha girl. Like, I don't remember. Yes, girl. So what I'm gonna be trying to do, hold on, I have a hair just like escaping, it's like right in my eye line. I'm like, I don't remember what it's called. Like, it's like Hex Baby, is it the Scream palette? What is it called? There we go, now we're good. All right, now we're gonna change wigs for the next video.